Good morning, Cubs fans, and welcome back to Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. My name is David Butler, and I am your host of what has become one of my favorite parts of the week, this podcast. Since our last podcast came out last Sunday, our Chicago Cubs have gone 4-2, all against some of the best teams in the NL and the NL West so far. The Chicago Cubs currently sit in first place now at 14-9, with a 2-game lead over the Milwaukee Brewers, who sit 1 game over 500, and the Reds 1 game under 500 in third place. On today's podcast, we will do a quick review of each of those games. We will do a preview for the upcoming series this week, talk about some possible extensions, and the call-ups and call-downs, or send-downs. Remember that the best way to help grow the podcast is to listen to every episode, like the episode, share the episode with your friends, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. In our weekly recaps, we're going to start with Sunday, and what it turned out to be the beginning of P. Crow Armstrong's best week of the season so far. The Cubs won against the Dodgers 4-2 on Sunday Night Baseball. PCA hit 2 homers, his first 2 of the season, and then a triple as well, along with Michael Busch hitting his 3rd home run of the season. Colin Ray pitched very well, and then was backed up solidly by the bullpen to hold down the dangerous Dodgers and get the series win in LA. On Monday, and what started out pretty solid for the Cubs in the first 5 innings, quickly deteriorated in the 6th and 7th inning, and then got out of hand in the 8th, as the Cubs bullpen once again struggled to put together 2 straight solid outings. In a game that saw PCA and Miguel Amaya each get 3 hits, and Michael Busch hit his 4th home run, the Cubs couldn't score more than 4. Jameson Taillon pitched well into the 6th, and Brad Keller relieved him, but gave up the lead. That's when things got interesting, though, as Nate Pearson and Eli Morgan each imploded in the 7th and 8th innings respectively, giving the Padres the series win. For now, that was the last we will see of those 2 guys, as Nate Pearson was sent down on Tuesday morning to AAA, and Eli Morgan was put on the injured list with an elbow injury. Tuesday, in a game where the Cubs had 10 hits and 3 walks, they could only muster 2 runs. However, Shota Imanaga in the bullpen shut down the Padres for only 1 of their own and steal a victory for the Northsiders. The bullpen was the heroes of the game, with 5 innings of 1 hit and 1 walk baseball. How nice is that? Wednesday, Matthew Boyd continued to pitch well, giving up 2 runs in 5 1/3, but the bullpen can't hold on, and the Cubs lose 4-2. Luke Little, called up Tuesday morning, can't get command and walks 4 batters in the 8th. PCA does hit his 3rd homer of the season, but the Cubs can't get too much going offensively in this one, as the Cubs lose their first series since March. Late March, but it still counts. On Thursday, the Cubs had an off day that was much needed for the pitching staff, I think. Friday was one of the wildest games anyone will have watched, at least for this season, for those who were lucky enough to watch it. In a game that had only 3 runs through the first 6 innings, 2-1 in favor of the Cubs after 6, the Cubs scored 5 in the 7th to take a 7-1 lead. The Diamondbacks then scored 10. Yes, 10 runs in the 8th to make it 11-7, as the bullpen again completely implodes, and then the Cubs, not ready to give up yet, scored 6 more runs in the 8th inning. 6. Holy crap. That's 21 runs in an inning and a half. The Cubs took a 13-11 lead at that point. They had plenty of miscues defensively, but more than made up with it and refused to quit, even after a devastating top of the 8th. In a game that saw 7 home runs, 5 of them from the Cubs, 2 grand slams, 1 of them from Ian Happ, the Cubs battled and won one heck of a game. Jordan Wicks, who was called up earlier that day, gave up 3 hits and 5 pitches and was quickly pulled in favor of Porter Hodge to face Eugenio Suarez, I believe. Hodge has been good most of the season, but he gave up a grand slam to Suarez, and who now has 5 of his 6 homers of the season against the Cubs. Hodge had his worst outing of the season, giving up a total of 6 runs on the day. Ryan Presley looked really good in the ninth and got the win. Plenty of offense all around for many members of the team. I keep talking about the bullpen, ups and downs, but Ryan Presley, I was pretty hard on him earlier this year, has looked really good his last 3 or 4 outings. Hopefully that continues. Porter gets back on his winning ways, and Julian Merriweather keeps pitching well too. They've got the makings of a nice bullpen as long as they can continue to patch it together. There's hope there, I think. Daniel Palencia has looked really good. We've got some solid guys. I'm digressing and getting away from the recaps, though, so we'll go back to the last game for the recap Saturday, in a game that was attended by myself and a few of my friends, as well as my nephews and their buddies. Ben Brown pitched very well overall after giving up an opening home run to Corbin Carroll. That was all to the scoring the D-backs could muster until the ninth, when Tim Tawa blasted a homer off Daniel Palencia, who was just trying to get the last out in a 6-1 game and get ahead with a cookie that was over the plate in the first pitch of the at-bat. None of it mattered. He walked Carroll after that and then got the last out against Perdomo. Palencia looked very, very good again. Brown was only able to go 4 innings as he struggled some with his command again, but had really good stuff, striking out 6 in 4 innings, but walking 4 and going deep in many more counts than necessary for sure. The bullpen did well, though, and the offense scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings, led by Seiya Suzuki and Michael Busch, who both had a homer, and a Kyle Tucker triple. Today, the Cubs will finish up a 3-game set with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then they are off Monday. They have 2 days off this week, which is very rare. They will open a series on Tuesday with the Dodgers, a 2-game series that the Cubs should be able to split. The Dodgers have currently worked themselves up to second in their division, currently sitting a half game out behind the Padres at, I think, 15-8, 15-7, something like that. They are 5-5 on the road, though, versus 10-2 at home. So they're a much different team on the road so far in the early part of the year. And I just want to make a note that those 2 losses at home were against our Chicago Cubs. Then they are off on Thursday, and the Phillies come to town for 3 games. The Phillies currently sit 1 game back in the New York Mets at 13-8. Always a dangerous team. The Cubs will need to pitch well in this series to be able to take 2 out of 3. But they should be able to take 2 out of 3. They'll have a rested pitching staff from the extra day with 2 days off. Hopefully they can make this week at 3-2 against some very good opponents. Even at home, I think 3-2 against these 2 opponents will be very, very good and success. Justin Steele had a very successful surgery. Obviously, I think by now, most of us know that Matt Shaw was sent back down to the minors. This is not the end of the road for him. Anybody who thinks so just doesn't understand baseball. This is not uncommon. Kyle Tucker was sent down. Anthony Rizzo, Ian Happ. There's all kinds of successful major league players who turn out to be stars. I'm not saying Matt Shaw is going to be a star. I just want him to come in and be a solid starter, contributor. Whatever else happens is great. But I'm just saying, this is not uncommon. He is good. He's got way too much talent and can and will succeed. He's just got to make some adjustments offensively. He was very impressive defensively. We talked about Eli Morgan going on the IL. He, last year, had a great year with Cleveland at 1.93 ERA. However, he also only had 30 games that he pitched in, 42 innings. It was by far the least amount he had done. I don't think he's as bad as he has looked so far this year. I think there's probably something to this elbow injury, and it affected him. I think he was trying to pitch through it. I keep saying I think because this is all speculation on my end. I think he's probably somewhere in the middle. That's what his career stats show. He can be successful. He can be a contributing part of the bullpen, but he's got to figure some stuff out too. As far as Nate Pearson, he's got to figure out his location. He struggled so much with the location of the fastball. When he had strikes, they were right over the plate. And and he was leaving off speed pitches over the plate, just cookies. And then he couldn't throw strikes when he struggled a lot to throw strikes and was walking players, and then having to throw it over the plate and getting crushed. No way to succeed, especially in the major leagues. I don't think he's going to succeed in AAA that way either. He's got to figure that out. Hopefully he can, because he is a very good pitcher when he is on. He showed that late last year. I'll finish it off with a couple of possible extension notes. A couple of things were talked about this past week over the media, and lots of Cubs fans talking about him, a possible PCA extension. If that happens, that'd be great. How I would see that looking would be like 8 years, $100 million range. I'd like to see them hold off for a little bit. I think this kid is really, really good. And I mean really good. Over this past week, I said earlier, he had his best week of the year. He went 11 of 23 with 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 8 runs, and 4 doubles. And only 1 stolen base. Speed is part of his game. He got a double yesterday because of speed. No other reason, no other way around it. He got a double yesterday because the left fielder wasn't paying attention, and he just legged out an extra base. He is so exciting and so fun to watch. 8 years, $100 million isn't that bad in today's game, in today's baseball economy. I would love to see Kyle Tucker. That's been talked about quite a bit more. When they traded for him, I didn't think there was any chance in hell that we had a possibility of signing him. But he seems to be open to the possibility. I would think at 10 years, $475 to $500 million, it gives the rest. His play gives the rest of the team confidence. You can see it. That's the major difference offensively, in my opinion, this year versus last. He is so smooth and so good and fun to watch. He gives the Cubs a true star, and you can see the pressure taken off of all of them, but specifically Seiya Suzuki. He doesn't have to be what Kyle Tucker is. He can just go out and hit and be a great bat and fun, and it's just fun. The rest of the team is so much better when he is hitting and hitting well. Don't forget to join our Facebook group at Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. Leave some posts or comments in there about what you'd like to hear or what you thought about today's episode. However you subscribe to your podcast, please like and subscribe to Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy, so that you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. Also, if you feel so inclined, please make sure to leave a 5-star review and leave me some comments. If you are enjoying this podcast, make sure to tell and share it with any of your friends who might be a Cubs or baseball fan. Have a great day, and let's go Cubs. Paisley, send them home.
Go Cubs, go!
Living